Hi everyone! Let's create, appreciate, and F that hate. Welcome back to Nikkaflora. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week. So before we get down to today's video, I would like to make a quick announcement. So I said before that I'd be posting a new video and blog post every Saturday. Now I decided to change my schedule and post every Wednesday and Saturday, which is kind of funny because I haven't posted as much. My problem was letting everything else come before my writing, and I'm trying to improve on that. I mean, certain things should always come before your profession, such as health and family. Of course, I'm still prioritizing those. Anyways, thanks for listening to my announcement, and let's move on to the video. So today's video is actually going to be different from my usual content, but it's still about creative writing. If you've been following my blog and my social media for a while, you'll notice that I actually like to give tips and teach others how to get better at writing because I'm amazing at it. I know society tells us that we should be humble and not brag about ourselves, but I really am good at what I do. I think it's important to celebrate what we're actually good at. I thought it'd be interesting to do a Q&A where I address questions that other people have asked me. I didn't get as many questions this time since I made this video on a short notice, but I'm glad some people participated, and I do plan on doing another Q&A sometime again soon since I didn't actually get to answer everyone's questions this round. I've also written more information about this in my blog post, which is called My First Q&A about creative writing lol. I can't forget the lol, on Nikkaflora.com, same title as this video. Click on the link in the description below to check it out. I would pretty much appreciate it. Alrighty, so my first question says, what kind of a writer are you? I picked this question to put as my first one because I never specified what kind of writer I am. I just put writer on my bio, but thinking about it, maybe I'll add more to it now. So to answer the question, I'm a storyteller, especially in romance writing. I dabbled in other forms of writing, such as poetry, songwriting, and screenwriting. People liked my other work before, which was nice. In my opinion, I got bored of poetry pretty quickly. It takes more time for me to write a song unless I practice it constantly, and I don't particularly care for screenwriting, although the high school play I wrote before was pretty awesome. Writing stories is something I would never get bored of. I have tons of great ideas, but the thing I learned is that while it's easy to start a story, it's much more difficult to finish one. I would know since it took me 3 years, yes, 3 years, to finish A Right Love from a Wrong Wish. If you would like to read that story, click on the link in the description below to check it out. I would pretty much appreciate it. So the second question is, what are some of your favorite books? Funny thing about this question, I actually did a video about this, about a few of my favorite books before. I'll link it down below if you guys are interested in watching it. I'll still talk about a couple of other book recommendations. My favorite romance book when I was younger is called Perfect Chemistry by Simone Alcaraz. It's about a gang member and a stereotypical white girl falling in love with each other after they get assigned as chemistry partners. I love this story not just because of the romance, but it also taught me about race to a deeper extent. Like how Mexicans are stereotyped to be part of gangs, or how white people are obnoxious Karens and Kens. There's truth in both. However, the story shows that these characters actually grow out of these labels and they forge their own paths in life, which I think it's pretty amazing. I recommend that book because overall, it's a really amazing story. And no matter what age you are, I know it's actually going to benefit pretty much anyone who would read this. The other book I recommend is called Wendy Darling Volume 1 Stars by Colleen Oakes. It's actually based off of Wendy from Peter Pan, so if you read this book, it'll feel very familiar to you if you've actually seen the Disney movie before. What makes this book different is that while it seems very innocent, it's also psychologically dark. You might not even look at Peter Pan the same way after you read this. I know I haven't. It's still worth reading though. When I first read it, that book just came out, so probably around 2015, 2016, around that time, around that year. The other books in the series weren't even out yet. I remember Peter Pan was obsessed with Wendy. He was very possessive of her, and he'd be willing to kill anyone who gets in his way, because some of the stuff he did in the story was pretty messed up. Exactly my kind of guy, low key. No. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the video part. Alrighty. I didn't fully understand how abusive Peter Pan was when I first read it, but I knew whatever he was doing still gave me chills. Ooh, and the ending. The ending. I would talk about it, but it's better if you actually read the book. So those two books that I mentioned are probably geared toward young women, but I feel like men would also enjoy the Peter Pan book. I recommended it to some of my guy friends and they actually enjoyed it. So yeah, everything works out then.
Let's move on to my third question. Is there a story you're working on right now?
As a matter of fact, yes. I'm currently writing a story called Red Silver Hearts, and I'll link it down in the description below so you guys can check it out. I know there's going to be quite a few links down there, but I love sharing cool stuff with you guys. So the story is a fanfiction about two of my favorite characters, Steven Stone and May from Pokemon. I pretty much started writing it because I was playing Alpha Sapphire and I became inspired enough to want to write my own take on it. Honestly, even if you haven't played Pokemon or even heard of it, actually, I would be kind of surprised if you haven't heard of Pokemon or even DBZ. Anyways, you'd still be able to enjoy my story. There are some people who didn't know anything about DBZ and they read Right Love from a Wrong Wish and they loved it. I've read stuff from other fandoms that I don't know anything about. I still like the content because the stories were just that good. It pretty much comes down to whether or not they're actually good stories to read.
As for my fourth question, what is your inspiration for writing?
Okay, so this is kind of a hard yet simple question for me. The answer is that it really depends on what I'm doing at the moment. So right now I'm actually working on my blog, Nikkaflora.com, where I'm currently teaching others how to be better writers. I also try to spread positivity whenever I can. Like for example, on my Instagram, I post on that platform the most out of my social media because that's my favorite. I freaking love Instagram. I talk to my friends there often and see what they're up to. I love watching different art videos, stuff like that. In my posts, I started writing these long descriptions under the pictures or videos I upload. I mean, well, they're kind of long, but they're not hard to read or anything like that. What I like is that some people told me privately that they like reading my captions and the good messages that I actually send out there. At first, I was kind of shocked that they told me that. I even laughed in their faces. Or at least like I laughed when I saw the text online. I basically said, "Oh, you actually read them. You read the whole thing? Really? Are you sure?" I know that it takes some time to stop and read and digest the material. I know a lot of people are very impatient. Like they kind of just want things yesterday. Yeah, but these people actually told me, they're like, heck yeah, I tried to read every single one. They're very positive, refreshing to read. It's real, it's down to earth. I love it. I love this content. I love this good vibe. I love this good energy. Like everything about it. It's just awesome. So that made me really happy. Because I was actually told that recently. I mean, I'm not perfect, but it's nice to know that I'm starting to make a positive impact on people's lives. I try to write things that are authentic from my personal beliefs, but in a good way, because when people read that, I want them to feel good too. I don't want to be some troll who writes trash on the internet. Like, you know, if you've been on Reddit or those other sites, and you see people constantly whining about some dynasty shit. Like they just never have anything good to say. They constantly complain or they make all these hate posts. I mean, that's their life. They can say whatever they want. But for me, I'm just not into that. I just want to say good stuff as much as I can because there's already a lot of bad stuff in the world anyways. But I hope this roundabout answer, I hope it answered your question.
Alrighty, now we are down to my last question for this video. So this one says, how are you able to write every day?
I think I briefly talked about this in one of my Instagram posts or maybe more. I remember talking about how I wanted to build more good habits in my life. I pretty much got writing stuff down every day, Now I'm working on exercise, which I've been doing well at lately. I'm able to write every day because it's a habit that I've built through years of my time. It may not be what you want to hear, but there's no shortcut when it comes to building habits. You would still have to put the work in. I know sometimes when people ask these kind of questions like, hey, how are you able to do this? They're kind of expecting some like quick fix solution, but pretty much most of the time that's not how it works. The circumstances in my life also help me consistently write. For example, working on my book trained me to write continuously, especially when it started to gain popularity. People messaged me when I wasn't active before. I stopped writing my book at times because there were reasons such as burnout or being busy. These people, even my friends too, wanted me to continue posting chapters. So there's this newfound pressure added on me, and it kind of forced me to keep going, which was a good thing in that particular situation. It means people like what I do and they want to see more. The thing I gotta say about this is, while it's amazing to have a support system, if you want to write every day or if you want to build any consistent habit, you have to learn how to motivate yourself. You have to constantly remind yourself that whatever it is you're working on, it's worth it. It's worth everything, even if you don't have anyone on your side cheering you on. I mentioned this because not everyone has someone to support them. If you really want to do something, are you going to wait until you have validation from someone else and then you'll finally do it? That doesn't make any sense to me. I love it when my friends support me. I mean, they support me on pretty much maybe almost anything, I would say. I would say that. But even if they didn't, it's not going to stop me from doing what I love to do. I hope that answers your question. It does take time and perhaps some pressure to build the habit of writing every day. Anyways, thanks for watching my video. I enjoyed filming this and answering your guys' questions. Again, you could always click on the link below to read my entire blog post for more info. It's the same title as this video, my first Q&A about creative writing, lol. Join the Nikkaflora fam today by visiting Nikkaflora.com and subscribe to my mailing list and my social media. I would appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to the Nikkaflora channel, give this video a thumbs up, and click on that notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. Comment down below and let me know if you have any questions you would like me to talk about for the next Q&A video. I don't know when I'm going to do that video, but I'm sure definitely I will do another one sometime this year. You can post your question here in the comments or on my other social media. I will eventually see it. I'll be back with a new video and blog post this coming Saturday. I'm actually pretty excited about that. Until then, let's create, appreciate, and F that hate. Bye guys!